Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay on YouTube? I see I've got 4 people that are watching. I appreciate you guys being here this morning. Hope you guys have all had an awesome Christmas and a great New Year's. Trying a different format this morning, trying to show my entire Sierra chart screen. This is just the current chart book that I'm using. I'm also going to start this year off with one 300K Apex account. I've had a lot of people talk with me about what it's like starting trading and not having any money, and I was like, all right, let me try to help these folks out by showing you guys that you can start with literally one account and build up from there. And so that's what we're going to do. We're starting 2026 with one single Apex account. It is a 300K account, and then we're going to take it to payout. We're going to first pass the eval. So I literally took one trade with it this morning to make sure that that the account was working. And so we're going to take it from basically 0 to hero, right? We're going to do the eval, which I'm using a 300K account because I think as a new trader, if you're a brand new trader, the 300K account gives you a lot of room, right? With the $7,500 drawdown, a lot of room for mistakes and things like that. Whereas like a 50K account, they're pretty easy to blow out. And so we're going to start with one account this morning, pass the evaluation, which means that we have to have 20K in profit, and then we are going to go from there. Let me just make sure that you guys can hear me okay. Let me just double check OBS. It looks like my mic is working, so you guys should be able to hear me all right on your end. And then let me see if I can get... Awesome. Hey Dave, appreciate you being here, man. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can't hear, you can't see. Again, trying to show the trade monitor and the account balance for this account, which is over here on the left side of my screen. Trying to keep that in view for you guys, and then also tweaking the charts a little bit. This is not the chart book that I 100% normally use, but I've had a lot of people ask about the tick and how I use that, so we're just going to start off with some basics, talking about the Nasdaq tick and the NYSE tick, or New York Stock Exchange tick. And on the left side, I just kind of have my standard higher time frame chart. I use a lot of VWAPs, really get a lot of value out of these guys. They're really kind of my bread and butter to see if we're, you know, buying low or selling high. This morning it looks like, and again, I have not traded since before Christmas. I've taken the last 2 weeks off, so it really looks like it wants to get some footing here in this area. Where these quarterly VWAPs are at. This yellow line is a previous month VWAP close, and so that would be November's VWAP close right here in yellow, and it held there. Now this is coming up on December's previous month's VWAP, so it could, I'm sorry, yeah, December's VWAP. It could absolutely drop from here and go lower. You know, when you look at the chart, the charts, the SPX, SPY, ES, they are all, you know, at all-time highs basically. And so it's easy to kind of lose where you are in outer space. But let there be no doubt that we are absolutely super extended right now. And, you know, at some point, right, there's going to have to be a correction. The market can't continue to go higher indefinitely. It does in the overall sense, right? It continues to go higher. They have to continue to push it higher, so that way they can induce us into trading. But so hey, good morning, Ryan. How you doing, man? I think I'm gonna have to drop out of this voice chat and just go with YouTube, because I'm getting like some crosstalk on this other channel here, and I want to make sure that people can hear it. But so let's see. This morning we've got ISM manufacturing PMI, and yeah, should be a good day. This is like my first trading day of the year, so this is kind of what I'm considering this, you know, fresh start, so to speak. I'm going to keep chat up, so you guys let me know if you guys have any questions. And yeah, we'll have a good day today. Okay. I was supposed to get a I was supposed to get a new monitor over Christmas and I didn't get it, so I'm really kind of limited on screen space this morning again still. But I'll pick up another monitor. I want to, like I said, I want to make sure that you guys are getting the best um, product, so to speak, that you can. So. Guess I'll just keep it up like that. Again, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll continue to work on this color scheme. I will be trading off of this chart here on the right side. This is the one that I'll be using primarily. The red line is just the cumulative, I'm sorry, the blue line is the cumulative volume delta. The red line is the trades delta. And then you have the Nasdaq tick, which is here, and then the NYSE tick, which is here. So right now everything looks to me to be bullish. We have negative delta, but you guys can see that price is continuing to go higher. So even though there's a bunch of, I say a bunch, it's not a bunch, but even though there is some aggressive selling, that aggressive selling is continued to be absorbed and prices going higher. So I like to pull these fixed range volume profiles, kind of look and see when we are in and out of value. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick and then I'll be right back. Again, appreciate you guys being here this morning. about that. You're welcome, Dave. I'm just an army vet, man, trying to make a living like everybody else, doing something that I can somewhat control my own time with. You know, I've been grateful to have a wonderful military career, and trading is not, I mean, you guys know, trading is not something that, it's not the most welcoming industry in the world, right? When you go to basic training, you get out of basic training, or you go there and somebody's there to you know, your drill sergeant's there to meet you at the bus, right? To take you to promptly get a haircut. But then that drill sergeant, you know, takes you by the hand and starts showing you what it means to be a soldier. But in trading, it's not like that. It's full of a bunch of fakes and frauds, and especially, I mean, the retail side's a mess. So anyway. All right, so I don't lean on the tick a whole lot right out of the gate. Okay, I try to let this thing go on its own. You will see right here on the right hand side, I have this reset, the volume delta and the trades delta reset at the open, and so they've reset. They were down here around the 1K level, and so now we're just kind of looking to see its reaction. Like right now there's a lot of heavy selling at the open, which if we look at this longer range chart, it's happening right here. And again, I hope you guys can see this. I'm trying to show everybody the complete picture today. Whereas in the last few weeks, I was focused more just on the tactical chart, but I kind of really want to show you guys the higher time frame stuff that I'm looking at. So, you know, we're seeing aggressive selling out of the gate, and it's happening right at this previous month's VWAP. It does not mean that this thing is going to reverse, right? So we want to watch and see what information the market's given us as far as the order flow. Both ticks are positive, so that's a good sign, and good sign if you're bullish. And so we'll just kind of take it moment by moment here and see what we get. You guys can see the live account balance there. Again, we've got to take this eval from 0 all the way to 250K P&L. I'm sorry, 250K. That would be a tough eval to pass. 20K. So this morning on my little test trade that I took to make sure the account was active, we made $167. So we're just going to take it slow. There's no rush. I do have a personal account that I am trading alongside with this through another instance of Sierra chart. So you guys won't see that balance, but again, I just wanted to show you guys that a person, right, an average, everyday, normal person, wherever you are in the world, as long as you have access to the internet and you know, Apex accounts, you can make life-changing money. Yes, it is a simulated trading environment. That is not a secret. I think everybody in the industry understands that. So it is a simulated trading environment, but you can certainly make more than enough money from Apex or any of these other prop firms to fund your own personal account. And that's what I did. And so, you know, I'm grateful for Apex for that. It was difficult for me, right, initially, as it is for everybody else. But all right, so the reason that I have this as open, high, low, close bars over here on the right side is just that it's, and again, this is a 30-second chart. I'm really looking at the volume, right? The volume that is forming over here on the right side. And I'm using that in confluence with these delta levels, okay? So, um, you know, we're going to try to find, obviously it is in an uptrend, all right? And we're going to try to join this trend. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, it could absolutely just sell off here from the previous month's VWAP, and you know, we would potentially miss it. But we want to look for a confluence of things. Usually I like to see some kind of divergence between the volume delta, between price, and where the ticks are at currently. So the ticks have been positive. They're pulling back to the zero line. So again, the tick, if you're not familiar with it, it is showing us buying and selling activity on the equities side of the house. I'm currently trading NQ. I will trade NQ, ES, gold. But right now, the tick is showing us activity on the equity side. And so far, those stocks are, those individual stocks, right, are more bullish than they are bearish. So let's see if we can find a spot to get in on this. Just trading micros, and again, it's a 300K account, and there's a $7,500 drawdown. There's no reason for me to really lay on the gas and try to get this thing passed in one day. It's not about passing your evals in one day. I'm not a fan of trying to exploit news events. I know that there's a lot of trading influencers out there that tell you guys to do that. I am not that guy. I think that you should absolutely take your time with your evals and try to trade them as cleanly as possible. Sure, once you're getting payouts and you know, you're not stressing out about it, then you can start to lay on the gas a little bit with these evals, but otherwise you should be trading them conservatively. Otherwise you're just going to blow through hundreds of evals, right? And I've done that. Be very clear about it. I've blown through hundreds of evals. I've blown through, you know, 100 plus funded accounts over the time, you know, the last 6 years that I've been trading. It took me, you know, 4.5 years to be profitable. And I still make mistakes, right? There's still times that I oversize. All right, so I like that we're coming down here to this 2K level. Those of you guys that have watched my stream before, you know that I like to hone in on these delta levels quite a bit. And I look for confluence between the delta levels and other factors on the chart. So my thought is that, and we may end up missing this trade altogether. That's okay. But my thought is that the algorithms that the large firms use, right, hedge funds, banks, they reset at the open. And so when they reset and kind of re-anchor themselves, the delta resets. And so I just use that as a read for aggression in the market. And our delta is negative right now, which normally would have me leaning to be bearish, but our ticks are still positive. So until the ticks start showing me something different, I'm still looking for, you know, a long here. And you guys can see that we're starting to drop back down into some of the overnight stuff. I'm going to take off this RTH delta neutral because that's an old study that I used. And let's see, where do I have that at? Okay, I'm going to hide that. That way we don't confuse anybody. I hope you guys can see everything okay. I know that it's smaller than it was in the previous weeks that I was streaming, but again, I want to kind of show you my standard setup. And So we've got news coming in 22 minutes. So I'm not like super inclined to jump into a trade. Like, why would you be? Especially with it being a red folder event. So I'm gonna sit here and sip my coffee, and we'll chat. There's 8 of you that are watching, and again, I appreciate you guys very much. And if you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask before we get really, smack in the middle of PMI. If this thing, again, I don't even remember what my hotkeys are really. I hope you guys can see that little yellow circle, but if it comes down here and taps into this 2K level, I will watch the volume on price and wait and see for it to kind of put in some structure here, and then we might take a long. Not seeing any glaring divergences other than we have the tick. Oops, sorry. The tick is put in a higher low right there. But again, with news coming up, I'm not like super keen on buying it yet. So we're tapping into that 2K level now. Let's see if this holds. If this holds, I might go ahead and take a quick scalp from here. Again, I like it that the ticks are kind of holding. Sometimes you'll get a hard push down, and then it won't really have any. Okay, so that looks like it's kind of wanting to follow through now. We're kind of getting down toward the bottom of this value area. I think I'm going to try just a single micro here. Yeah, you're right. And there are some times that I will have, instead of this higher time frame chart, I will have the ES over on the left. But I know that it's Monday, it's the new year. We've got some people that have never kind of watched me trade before, so I wanted to have this up for you guys to see it. See how we're getting a nice little reaction off this 2K level though. The delta is negative, but I probably should have gone in with a little more size. I really like to buy these spikes lower, right? Like again, you're thinking about buying at a discount. Again, it might take us a few days or maybe into next week to get this eval passed, but that's okay. Again, there's no rush. Yeah, I don't worry about breaks so much. I'm really just trying to watch the order flow and what it's doing. Yeah, there's a ton of stats on, London highs, London lows, Asia high, Asia lows. I just find myself trading into ICT territory when I start looking at all of that versus just trading the order flow. There's a lot of times where it'll get down to the overnight high or the overnight low, and it just won't sweep it. And it's like, okay, well now what, right? What What if you're an ICT trader and you don't get that sweep? Or you're like a really heavy stats based trader, and I'm just going to exit this real quick. Or if you're a really heavy stats based trader, I know some guys like Double Wide Capital. He's on X. He's an excellent statistician. He's helped me so much. And but it's like, okay, well, what if that stat doesn't break? What if this is just one of those days where you don't get that sweep, you know, the picture perfect setup? Then what? So that's where for me, I'm not concerned so much that, you know, that our overnight low is, you know, I guess this would probably be it right here. Whoops. Right? So that's the overnight low. And then London would be, that's outside of the London session. Right? So this right here, again, everybody's got differing views on it. To me, London starts at 3 a.m. So this is just outside of the London low, but probably would be considered London low. So let's just call it that for simplicity's sake. Whoops. Gosh, it's sticking. Anyway, it's round about there. I used to have a bunch of, I used to have all these different highs and lows and session highs, session lows on my chart. And I don't know, like it almost felt like it was maybe too much information. Whereas if I just focus on what the order flow is doing, and I keep my order flow very simple. I've just got volume delta, trades delta, and then these market internals. Keep it simple and don't stress out about it. Yeah, I mean, sure, if we get a swing of a overnight high or overnight low, it might turn into a really nice trade, but then again, there's just sometimes that you just don't get it. Like, there's probably a lot of people that are waiting for this thing to do exactly what you're asking me about, and it just may not do it. So then what, right? Like, what if instead of from here it just rallies? Again, ticks are looking very strong. They're holding. Price is dropping a little bit, but at some point, you know, there's going to be the divergences are going to stop, and they're going to get back in alignment with each other and continue to go. So anyway, I know it was a roundabout way of answering your question, but whoops, didn't want to delete that. I must have just moved it. Ticks are looking like they're wanting to really rally. We're kind of in a, if we look at this higher time frame chart here, we're kind of in, it's not a bad spot, it's a great spot. It's just that you have to understand that in areas like this, when you've got so many VWAPs that are stacked on top of each other, there's going to, whoa, I'm sorry, that looks pretty bad. There's going to be a battle, right? There's going to be all kinds of entities and players that are adjusting their positions in these kinds of areas. It's not like it's a, you know, clean break higher and now you're waiting for a nice pullback. You know, from here this thing could go up and then retest and then go higher. It could break lower. You know, we're kind of in a battle zone right here. And so let's see if we can see if we can find some edge here. Yeah, I know. And again, you guys let me know if it's just unbearable and I can go back to just focusing on. That's the thing with YouTube, right? It's really kind of limited on what I can and can't show you guys. Volume's too low? Okay, I can turn that up. Again, I'm using OBS, so you guys let me know, man, if you guys can't hear me very well. I did order a new headset. I usually use AirPods. Is that better volume-wise? I usually use AirPods, but I have a daughter who's almost 15 now, and so she's taken over my AirPods, and then I bought a headset. I bought a headset probably 4 or 5 months ago. She took that over as well. You can't hear me at all? Can everybody else hear me okay? I can crank the volume up as high as it'll go here. I just don't want to blow your eardrums out. And then let me make sure that I'm using, yeah. I'm using a webcam mic, so maybe a little funky. Again, new headsets on the way, so appreciate your patience. All right. Hey Connor, how are you doing today, man? I wish we could just chat. That'd be cool if YouTube would allow voice chat instead of text, but I know there's also a delay as well on YouTube, of 30 seconds. So we'll continue to tweak it. I'm committed to having a good quality stream. I'm just, if you look at, I'm not going to mention any names, but if you look at a lot of streamers, right, especially the guys that have big time Apex affiliate accounts, and there's several. I mean, there's several streamers that are like 100K followers, 100K subscribers, and they're showing you like just a simple price chart, and it's like they're not actually giving you any value. They're just looking at 5-minute bubbles or 5-minute candles, and I want to actually give you guys some value, right? Like, I'm not necessarily giving away all of my secrets, so to speak, because but I want to show you guys enough that you can have edge in the market, right? Nice, Connor. Are you in college or university? Hey Ben, appreciate you, man, being here. Oh, nice. That's law is a cool and slightly scary field to get into. Just don't turn out like Ben Harp. I'm sure you guys saw him on X, who tried to dox the Delta Force commander last night or the night before. Just don't turn into one of those kinds of attorneys, Connor, and you'll be all right. I don't know what it is with people. I do know what it is, but I don't want to turn this into a political rant. But you guys know me. Like, I'm a Christian, I'm conservative, I'm an army guy, so I think you guys have a general idea of where my views are. I believe that there are great, and again, I'm just kind of chatting right now because we got 7 minutes before news, but I believe that no matter where you are, what country you're from, what your skin color is, what your background is, that there are good, hardworking people in every single country around the world who all that they want is the freedom to enjoy their life and not live in fear of their children being harmed by gangs, thugs, terrorists. Um, and again, that desire, right? It's not just the American dream. It's a worldwide dream, right? To live in peace and to be able to have a life, experience happiness. I think most people genuinely want to have children. Children are such a blessing, and God has humbled me through my children and really made me a better man than I ever thought I could be through my children. And so I think that desire, right, for freedom and just life and happiness is universal. Unfortunately, there are people um, around the world who want to take advantage of people like us. And so I was proud to serve in special ops and to take care of lots and lots of bad people, right? And so I was happy to see my former unit get the call, and I think they did an excellent job. Okay, all the background white noise. You guys probably know OBS better than I do. Let me take a look at it. Over the last 2 months, I've had to like learn. Sierra chart was already enough of a beast to figure out, and then to try to also figure out how to stream. So again, I appreciate your patience as I continue to work through it here. Tools. All right, I'm looking for it. Oh, filters. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I just turned that on. Hopefully that's better for you guys. Is that a lot better? He's like, oh wow, you sound amazing now. Cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. What what do you want me to call you? I appreciate you being here, man. And you were on stream with me like 2 weeks ago, and I read your name and I'm like you have issues, and I'm like I don't know. I'm just gonna call you you, or should I call you issues? It's probably because my I use a laptop because there's sometimes that I do trade on the go because I'm a dad with kids, and so I will the laptop fan is here, right next to the mic. Not right next to it, but within proximity. So, all right, we got like a minute and a half here. We're gonna see what happens. Ticks are holding, delta's holding, so everything is kind of in a holding pattern. Our delta started off negative. If we're going to get long, I really want to kind of wait for it. We didn't get that negative. We're at negative 2K, so it's not like crazy negative. But we want to see it break back above delta neutral here, which again could likely happen. We're kind of holding at this weekly VWAP. So let's see where they want to take it. Can you guys see the balance on the account monitor, the trade account monitor, which is, I'm trying to keep that so you guys can see it live, but I may have to come up with another system here. All right, we got 5 seconds. I'm going to give this thing some time here to pick a direction. Looks like there's positive delta that's coming in. Really would like to see it start to break higher on this delta chart if we're going to go long. We're in a funky spot here because I'm not like super keen on going short because we're all in the middle of these VWAPs. So let's just try and see if we can get a good read on the order flow. This is an important level right here, guys. This RTH delta low. A lot of times you'll get bounces from this level. So that's an important spot right there. And again, I hope you guys can see that on your end. I'm planning on streaming until about 10:30 or 11. NYSE tick is popping. Nasdaq tick is popping. Just be patient. Maduro chop, yeah. Did you just change your name? Charles VWAP? I like that. It's looking like it's wanting to lift. If I'm being okay, cool. Well, hey, Charles. Normally on these tick charts, I'm sure that you guys already know this, but like the 1K tick level is an important level, which it just tagged. That's saying that there's a lot of buying, right? I don't have them up here right now. I apologize for that, but you guys should know that whoops, 1K tick in either direction means that there's a lot of momentum, a lot of buying on the equity side. In those basket stocks, I guess. So it just tapped 1K positive, and then I'm going to put another one down here at 1K negative. And we'll just keep it simple. We'll just keep it simple. So you guys can see that there's buying on the equity side. Oops. I'm going to put one here on the tick, on the NYSE tick as well. Oh, come on. Sorry. I love CR chart. Sometimes there's too much customization. And I'll put one more down here. Yeah, this is looking like it's wanting to, so we'll do positive 1,000 tick, negative 1,000 tick. We'll keep those like that. Thinking about putting on 1 micro long, just because of what I'm seeing here in the tick charts. I'm going to lock all these down. Our delta is still negative, so on future side it could absolutely still drop, but I'm feeling like it's wanting to go up. So try to get in early, right? If it does break higher, so you can see our volume delta. I'll try to zoom in for you guys a little bit, but the volume delta is, which is the blue line, the volume delta is making a fresh high here. So there may be just enough aggression to really get it to take off. And if so, then we're in nice and early. And that's a good place to be. You can always add into it later on. This little volume profile on the right is just showing me visible bars. So you guys can see that we're kind of trading like above this value area. So maybe it'll hold. Can you guys see the trade position window okay? And the account monitor, which I've got kind of over in this area on the chart. Again, that's an overlay, so I can't really tell what it looks like from your side of things. So if it's worth having it, then we'll keep it. If it's not, if you guys are like, hey, that thing sucks, then I won't worry about showing you kind of real-time P&L. But just trying to be transparent with you guys on this account journey here. I like your name. I love it. I wish we had a little better alignment with the tick, like the ticks being positive, and the ticks have held positive too, pretty much all morning, right? You guys can see where they've both been largely positive. So there is a study out there, like cumulative tick. I built one with from Shadow Trader. You guys, he's got some great content on market internals and stuff. I would recommend you checking out his stuff. You know, he's like an old school pit trader guy, and he really helped me understand market internals. He uses a lot of other things though, like the ADD and advanced decline. I don't currently have any of that stuff up, but generally, if your ticks are staying on the positive side of things, again, that means that there's a lot of buying on the equity side. So you should see some follow through or bleed over or whatever on the futures. Having said that, I'm not the biggest fan of trying to get long when our deltas are negative. It's just one of those things, right? You have to understand that if your delta is negative, then you are going against the this would be like a C setup, right? This is definitely not an, that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking it, Charles. I really do. This is not an A plus setup for me, not at all. Um, because it's choppy, like you said, um, because we are uh, pinched in between these different VWAPs, right? I've talked with a few other guys about this before. My best trades come from areas where, and I'll show you guys over here in the higher time frame chart, like, uh, oops, from trades like this, where we've been hammering down, right? Everybody's puking their guts out. And in areas like this, right? And again, this is a 60-minute chart. These are 60-minute bars in this higher time frame. But in areas like this, what you will find is, and again, you have to give yourself enough room, right? You know, best case scenario, there's like 8:30 news, 9:30 open, it pushes strongly one direction or the other, and then it gets into these areas. And if I remember right, like over here to the left, there's like, you know, and again, over here to the left, there's always going to be like another VWAP or something like that off to the left side, or a point of control or something. But when you see price hammering down into um, one of those kinds of levels where you think there's going to be institutional buying, and then you watch the divergence form between price, tick, and your volume delta, right? Because what's happening is that I've gotten good at picking the top and the bottom. Now, it's only because I use the order flow in a very simple way and then using the tick. Um, but this right here is not an A plus setup. We haven't had any momentum one direction or the other, right? Um, because your best trades are going to come from areas where either the buyers are really offsides or the sellers are really offsides. And in that case, and I think about where we are right now, um, I don't think that we have that particular scenario, right? We haven't dropped far enough. Of course, we did, I guess, on Friday, which again, I didn't trade last week, so I didn't watch any of this price action or any of this stuff that happened over here. I was literally just with my family. But on Friday, Friday we did sell off hard in the overnight session, pre-market session, and then around 1 o'clock started to catch a bid a little bit and it started a rally. So that, and it looks like there's a gap there too. It looks like it's that there's buying, but you know it's just a matter of trying to join the trend, so to speak. But yeah, it's not an A plus setup by any means. It's a great question. Our ticks are, despite the kind of initial burst in momentum, they they haven't broken below the zero line yet, so that's good. They are holding. I like that. I like that the ticks are holding the zero line. If they start breaking these lows, then we'll have to get out, right? Get out of this long. Does it mean that I flip short? Not necessarily. Um, I do want to obviously pass this account, but again, like it's not a big rush. I told myself that I wasn't going to rush this process. with you guys. I ended last year great with Apex. I'm happy, and personal account grew quite a bit, and so I'm grateful for that. So I just thought that I would present to you guys kind of like a little case study, right? Hey, you can take one account and you can trade it and you can get payouts, and then from that you can, you can do something with it. You can actually start to pay your bills. I'm really watching the tick. We want to see this thing start to kind of make new highs. When it starts to lose momentum like this, and it's not really wanting to, and if I were to plot, I'm gonna plot this previous month's VWAP. So basically you can see it on the higher time frame chart, but I'll put it here. So again, this is the previous month's VWAP close. You know, it tapped into that. We have Ward's total vehicle sales, which I'll be honest with you, I don't think that I've ever seen that news event. So it is an orange folder event. I have no idea what, I'm sure it's just some metric again that they use to track the American economy. Okay, so look at the ticks now. Look at where we're at. And watch what they start to do here. If they start really making new lows, which technically it just did, then we'll get out. But also there's a lot of times that price will fight against, kind of like we saw earlier, right? Where we had, this is a good example right here, where, okay, so again, I hope you guys can see this, but right here, we had a bunch of aggressive selling, and it actually broke neutral on the session, and sellers continued to sell it, but then price was rallying higher. So when I see that, that tells me that there's absorption that's taking place, right? Limit order absorption. So we're just gonna, whoops. So yeah, we got a little bit of a push lower on the tick, but notice like I didn't panic sell there because it's still not really breaking lower yet. And we're up $43 on the trade. Like it might, obviously we want to try to add into these trades, right? The goal is not to hold on to one micro for as long as you can. You want to just get the direction right, and then really look for some confluence to add into these positions. So I'm always going to start these trades with you guys with like one micro and try to show you how I add in. And it seems like 20,000 in profit may be a long shot from here, but I guarantee you over the next few days, week or so, we can hit it. 300K account is my favorite account. I used the 50Ks to get payouts last year, and I like the 50Ks because it has the easiest profit target to trailing drawdown ratio. It's like 1 to 1.3, but I like the 300K account. Like again, it's got a massive trailing drawdown. So it started to the first payouts that I ever got from Apex were in 2024, and I got them on a 300K account because I just didn't have that pressure of that trailing drawdown hanging on my back, right? All right. The coffee's hitting me, so I'm going to have to go to the bathroom again. I'm so sorry. How funny. So I'm gonna now watch this thing start taking off. Let's see what it does here. I think I can go a couple more minutes. You can see how price is really fighting it. But again, this is to be expected. This is what I love about having these VWAPs. Like check this out. Like, okay, if I take the VWAPs off, then this is what you're left with. If I take the VWAPs off and the volume profile off, then that's all that you're left with, right? And you've got like, this would be, you would mark this high out. And again, these are hourly. You'd have something like that. You're kind of guessing, right? This is what your higher time frame chart would look like. Maybe you would draw like a, fair value gap or something like that, but you're just you're you're guessing, and like we don't know. We don't really know what it's going to do. It could run that high, it could turn right now, run this low. Um, we are in a downtrend, right, on this higher time frame chart because it did put in this lower low here. So we're still technically in a downtrend. But again, without using the VWAPs and having any other context, you're kind of flying blind. And so that's why I like to keep my charts simple. But when I put these VWAPs back on, they just give me so much more uh, context and flavor, right? Again, if you are an ICT trader and you're trying to get short right here because there's a fair value gap in this area, isn't that nice knowing that there's a previous month's VWAP right there? Again, I don't know. Like you guys, I'm never going to tell you that the way that I trade is the best way to trade. I want you guys to take what I'm showing you, and if you're a brand new trader, you guys can use it. If you're an ICT trader, I'm going to close this. I feel like we're going to possibly drop from here. So, and I need to use the bathroom. But if you're an ICT trader, you can add VWAPs and some order flow to your charts, and it just gives you really nice confluence. So, previous month VWAP. Okay, use the bathroom again. I'll be right back. And hopefully we'll get a nice push one way or the other, and we can size up a little bit. $280. Good way to start. Good start to the Monday. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Let me mute this. All right, I'm back, guys. Looks like we're still bouncing around this previous month's VWAP. Got some aggressive selling coming in. Ticks are still looking good though. Kind of hoping to see some I'm gonna see some extension, right? See this thing really break. Then we can get you know, like a pullback, retest, break and retest. Get some confluence here with things, but it's not looking like it. Okay, it's kind of struggling a little bit. But again, it's to be expected up against this month's VWAP. There's a lot of people trying to short it right now. But I'm not convinced that it's going to go lower. Even though our deltas are lower. Excuse me, our deltas are negative. Hey, we peaked at 10 viewers today. That's great. So we're getting some extension. That's good. I'm going to start a new volume profile from down here. And let's see. Well, I mean, I've basically got it on the right side of the screen anyway. But I'll go ahead and draw this fixed range volume profile. We'll just kind of track it. I'm not, again, not super excited about trying to get long just yet. I want to see, because we're still under this, like RTH opened over here, so our delta is still pretty heavily negative. I'm sorry, I keep saying heavily negative. It's not heavily negative. Heavily negative would be like under 5K on the NQ. You know, negative 5K, negative 10K on NQ is heavily negative. We're nowhere near that. But it's still negative, and that is noteworthy. That means that there is aggressive selling that's hitting the tape. The question is again, how effective is it, and are they going to come back in, right? Our volume delta, remember, it is an actual measurement of orders. And so right now, even though price is higher, there's still 566 contracts that were sold market short, so that are still holding. They're not cleared out of the book yet. And we know that because we're not back at delta neutral. So there's still some shorts that are being held. Market shorts at least. We're above that previous month's VWAP, so that's a good thing. Ticks are still holding. I like to kind of watch these things from like a higher perspective here, because sometimes you'll pick up on these divergences, which nothing, I mean, the ticks were dropping, but price was continuing to rise. So that means that there's a lot of buying in the NQ. Okay. Just going to kind of follow the momentum and wait and see if we can get a pullback, right? We want to see price extend this direction. It really needs to show us that it wants to go higher, and then tie that into confluence with the deltas. Right now, there's kind of a mixed signal, right? And when you have mixed signals between your tick and price and delta, then it tends to take a little while for it to sort itself out. So, and that's why you're not seeing a ton of, I think, directional movement in price. Could you take a long from here? Absolutely. I mean, you could. You guys, there is a low volume node right here, right? On our fixed range profile that's telling us that, again, there were aggressive buyers that were there. It kind of retested that a little bit. So sure, you could absolutely take a little long there. I would rather do that when the delta is positive, but again, that's just me. I want to see a little more extension from this, and then wait for a nice juicy pullback, because then I feel a lot more confident in my sizing. I'll probably go until 11. Excuse me. Probably go until 11. I'm going to try to stay disciplined in my approach here with you guys, because I can't be on stream all day. I mean, I guess there's some days that I can. Just today is not that day. Um, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys enough time to kind of show you what I'm thinking, and how I trade. Give you an accurate representation, right? And help you guys answer your questions. But at the same time, like, I got 5 other people that need me to be a dad today too. So one of the benefits, I guess, from having military retirement is flexibility. Flexibility. I would not want to be trying to learn how to trade and hold down a job at the same time. It would be tough. So I pray for you guys that are doing that. Just and that's one of the reasons too why I wanted to start streaming, was to just to, again, help people, right? To show you guys that you can do this. You absolutely can do this. You can take payouts from these prop firms, fund your own account, and start to provide for your family. Once your personal account gets to like 50K, to me, that's kind of the sweet spot where the pressure, it kind of comes off and you can just kind of trade without stressing out. That, somebody that's grown a personal account from 0 to 50K, that tells me that they've got some, they know how to trade, they've got some discipline, they know how to read the market. And yeah, so that, I think that should be everybody's goal, right? It's not, none of us are here because we want Lambos and to live that life. At least I don't, right? I like having my privacy. I like having a small group of friends, people that I'm close to, people that I know that love me, that love my kids, and happiness, right? I'm way past the point of wanting a flashy lifestyle. So, all right. So let's see. I'm kind of thinking about putting on something right here, but I like it that we broke above this 1K level on Delta and we're kind of retesting it. So I'll tell you what, we're just gonna do a micro right here. And if we start losing this low volume node and start dropping lower, then we'll just get out. I am trying to grow this account, right? I've gotta pass this eval. So ticks are still positive. There is a divergence between the tick and price. So that's can be concerning. And what I mean by that is if we just look right here, we can see where our ticks put in a lower high. They're still holding 0, so that's good, but they did put in a lower high, right? You guys can see that, and price put in a higher high. So naturally, as soon as I try to start getting long here, it'll do something crazy and knock me out. Let me put that volume profile back up. We're just gonna, usually with these volume profiles, I like to use, I just call them fixed leg volume profiles, right? Or fixed range volume profiles of the current leg and price. I think because people say volume doesn't matter. No, it absolutely matters. Like this is our current leg and price right here, up. And so that's telling us something, right? It's telling us something. So this is the most relevant volume that we have. Let's see if it, again, I apologize if you can't see it real well, but I'm gonna see if it puts in a little bit of a little swing low right here. And if it does, I may size in a little more to it. Again, I'm watching the ticks, see what they do. This could just be a big fake out and it drops from here. That's the thing with NQ, you don't really know until it shows you. So again, not an A+ setup, like Charles was asking. We're just trying to join the trend. And we're trying to do it in an environment where we're getting some conflicting signals between the overall market, which I consider this to be, right, our market internals, which are telling us, hey, the market internals are saying, hey, we're buying, right? We're positive. And our order book, which is telling us, yeah, we're kind of negative, right? kind of not super hyped about being a buyer right here. And I don't blame them. They're buying at a previous month's VWAP, so we held that through a little bit of heat. Again, this is why I trade micros, guys, on these evals. Because if we were in a full-size contract right there, that'd have been like $400. Okay, I'm probably gonna add into this a little bit because this tick is making new highs. So I'm gonna assume, right, that this momentum, put on my coffee here. I'm making the assumption that this momentum that we're seeing is the tick is kind of making new highs, put as many lines in my chart as I can right there, right? That it's going to go higher. And if not, then we're going to get out, right? If this breaks below this, I'll just get out. Guess that's my stop, right? I don't really use hard stops unless I've built a nice healthy position and um, unless I've built a nice healthy position and I've got to get up to do something with my kids. Come on. This is what I love about this thing. So we went lower, we touched it. Just give it a second here to see what happens. Tick's pulling back a little bit, but it did make a new high. If price really starts streaming down, then we'll get out. I would feel way more confident about this again if our deltas were positive right now, but we're still on the negative side of things. But we did put in new highs on the delta. We're still below RTH neutral. Price has been rallying even though the delta's been negative. Is the stream still going? It says that I have 0 viewers. So are you guys still watching on your end? Okay. That's weird. Like it went from, okay. It went from like 10 viewers to 0. All right, if it breaks, we're gonna get out. It's hard to get a read on volume profile as well because it's been so kind of choppy. Man, so tough because the tick is telling me one thing, but price is telling me something else. This is why it's so much easier to trade when you're getting like a big drop for me. I'm feeling like I should trust the tick, right? So I didn't get out there. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. Historically, I am always early on trades. I mean, I admit that that is a fault. I start seeing shifts in order flow and I get in, I don't always do it right. I've obviously gotten a lot better at hitting the tops and the bottoms, but I will get in too early and then get stuck. That's not really the case right here. Again, I'm aware that I have a $7,500 drawdown to play with, so I don't mind holding through a little bit of heat right here. But I'm also not getting like super married or locked into this trade. Yeah, it's always interesting when you've got a divergence between price and tick. So again, the ticks are, they're bullish for sure. I guess I guess that this is our new stop, right? I don't like taking that much heat on a brand new eval account. Usually I'll mark these two because it was broken. I'll just mark it as a dash or as a dot. That's probably going to look solid to you guys because so I'll just keep it as a dash. All right, so let's see what we do here. We want to see this delta start to rally. If you guys, I feel silly asking this, but I am trying to grow the channel. So if you guys can, you know, share with your friends. I know you guys are in other trading communities and things like that. Just let them know that I'm streaming. And obviously, you guys know how the YouTube algorithm works with comments and likes and subscriptions. So I just appreciate you guys being here. You know, trading is a lonely journey, and I think it's even lonelier when you're when you're really doing it by yourself, right? Like, and you don't have any contact with anybody. So I would love for Spec Ops Trading to grow into a positive trading community where average everyday folks, where I can come and learn to trade and start taking payouts from these prop firms that, again, like they they don't have your best interests in mind. So it's not like an actual prop firm at you know, in Chicago or New York that's really trying to coach you and help you grow. I think you guys understand that. So just understand that you're playing a game with them, right? A game that's been purpose built for you to lose. And so it is what it is. Oh, you're welcome, Dave. I'm happy to do it. It's helping me grow too. It's helping me be a better trader. Um, you know, what I'm showing you guys has allowed me to make life-changing money through Apex and, you know, grow a personal account. I've been through all the different courses that are out there, the paid courses. I mean, you guys, my wife, man, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on trading and nothing really, you know, made a lot of sense until I just kind of started putting all the different pieces together, right? The VWAPs. I had to simplify order flow. Like I really conceptually, I understood what order flow was and what it meant, but it's, it's dizzying to look at footprint charts. And honestly, like I felt like I was hyper scalping the market when I was looking at footprints. There's some guys that again trade them really well. All right, so tick is lower again, but not really selling off yet. I don't see any reason to sell. I want you guys to come back though, because understand that this is not like an ideal trading environment, right? Where you've got ticks that are telling you one thing, price is telling you something else, and then the order flow is telling you something else. On days when you can get in alignment with all three of them, man, price will really run, and then you can make there's some days that are just better trading days than others. And I'm not saying that today's a bad trading day at all. It's just tough when you're trying to, demonstrate what you're looking for because you don't always exactly get it, right? You don't always get a super nice delta divergence with tick divergences in alignment, and to get all of that to happen between 9:30 a.m. and 11 o'clock in the morning is it's almost like it's you know a miracle in itself. So I would just say come back, right? Come back, and you'll pick up how I read the order flow and how I look at the ticks over time, and hopefully it's something that you guys can again put into your own trading arsenal. Um, yeah. Previously, I've only demonstrated the volume delta, but I've had so many people ask me about the tick and how I use it, and I'm trying to, demonstrate that to you guys today as well. And the chart book will get better. Those of you guys that have been with me for a few months know that this is just kind of like a compilation of my coaching chart book and my own personal chart book. I was using Dutch Daniel's chart books. I like his chart books, but and again, to be clear, I never gave his chart book away or never sold his chart book or anything like that. But he took a lot of issue with me starting to, I don't know, I guess go the quote unquote paid route. Um, but I look at it as, hey, I developed this skill set on my own. Yeah, I paid for training, educational content, but like most things in life, right? You've got to take it and make it your own. And so what I'm showing you is my own way of trading. Um, and again, as a vet, it's like, okay, I've got a wife and 4 kids, and you should always be trying to diversify your income through, rental properties or, other businesses. Like that's how we achieve financial freedom. So ticks are starting to stream lower. I don't get wrapped around the days. I know I'm a big believer in uh well, whatever you believe about the market is what you're going to experience in the market. So if you, and again, I'm not busting your balls here, Dave. So just, please understand that. But again, we see people on X and YouTube who are like, I don't trade unless there's a red folder event, or I don't trade on Fridays, or I don't trade on triple witching days or quad witching days. The thing is that whatever you believe about the market, just like in real life, whatever you believe about yourself is what you're going to experience. So I believe that every day there's profitable trades to be had. And sometimes they occur, in that picture perfect window between 9:30 and 11, right? That we all hope and pray we get some nice juicy price action. But sometimes they occur at 6 in the morning. Sometimes they occur at 9 o'clock at night. And so I have a very open relationship with the market. I don't put any more precedence on any day or any time frame or any session to include, Asia, London, US. Obviously, I prefer the US session because there's just more volume. There's more volume, and which means there's more order flow. So as an order flow trader and a profiler, it's easier for me to find setups during that time. But I'm I have no preference as far as days goes. Again, it's funky when our order flow has been negative. Once the order flow breaks positive, I think that if it really breaks, there's no reason why, again, it's Monday. I'm going to put these in white. There's no reason why it won't uh, come up and hit these highs. There is a weekly VWAP that's here, and I'll go ahead and mark that out in orange. Again, I'm still working on the colors. This is a previous week VWAP. Some guys like the light colored charts, some guys like dark colored charts. I prefer the darker charts for myself. I know that they may be harder for you guys to read. Yeah. Well, that might be the day when you just kind of take it easy, right? Kind of take it easy until you get your A plus setup. We're still holding this. Again, this is a previous month's VWAP that we're right here at. So this is an area where you would expect there to be a tremendous amount of institutional buying and selling. Once we start getting this much data on on the tick, sometimes I'll switch to like a 30-second. So this is, I guess I should have told you guys, this is a 30-second chart on the right, and the tick charts are 5 seconds. I like to try to see the divergences on a shorter time frame on the tick. Still holding this. We want to see these ticks make new highs. And some kind of alignment with, you know, with the volume profile. Not a lot of edge on just using a fixed range volume profile on a day like this. You can see that, I mean, just how, you know, balanced it is, or how much volume has been put through here and why it's so choppy. You know, there's not like a really nice high volume node for us to. Let's see. I'm watching the ticks to see if they hold this higher low, which, whoops. I'm watching this right here, right? I don't want to see this low get broken. If this thing's going to go higher right now, then it's going to start making higher highs on this tick. And oftentimes it'll do it before price reacts. Nasdaq tick making highs. It's not clearing the high from 1045 yet, but okay, some positive deltas coming in. That's good. If the delta can flip positive, so meaning that it flips this area right here, then yeah, I absolutely think that we could take out those highs from last week. We just got to see again, see what happens here. Sometimes I like to do little trend lines on these guys on the tick charts, right? If you see this really break down on the S&P or on the Nasdaq, then yeah, you probably need to Probably need to get out. You're probably going the wrong direction. But for now, it's looking like it wants to hold. And we're starting to get some follow through on the delta. So we're just going to kind of hold this and see what we get. Okay, we're trying to pass this 300K eval account. I'm going to take you guys from eval all the way through funded to payout on this account. We'll take out 3,500, and then I may or may not size up at that point. If I were a person who needed to pay the bills and I got a $3,500 payout, I would not turn right around and add another account or two. I would absolutely just take that payout and set it aside, right? The other thing that you guys have to think about too is your taxes. So for me, I try to keep it simple. If I get a $20,000 payout, I take 10,000 of it. I take 50% of that and set it aside in a savings account. Rather than trying to do, the calculations based on my tax bracket and all of that, I just keep it simple. So at the beginning of the year, I have a savings account that's set up for payouts. I take half of each payout and put it into that savings account. And then at the end of the year, when it comes tax time, I've got that money set aside to pay my taxes. And then whatever's left after that, I'll either put that into my personal account or we'll use that for a vacation or, save for a down payment on a house, whatever. Okay. That's how I do it. I keep it nice and simple. So like I said, we're going to take this account from 0 to hero through the eval phase into the funding phase. And when we get to that first payout, a $3,500 payout, we'll talk about it more. But if I was somebody who wasn't getting consistent payouts or didn't have my own personal account, I would not do anything. I would not, I guess what I'm saying is I would not add a bunch of accounts, right? That is not the time to add a bunch of accounts and a bunch of pressure on yourself. So the tick made a new low, at least the nicey tick did. So okay, I'm going to take a little bit of profit on this. I'm going to take off just 2. I like to lock in profit as soon as I can. So we want to see the reaction right here on delta. That's going to be very telling whether or not it's going to push higher or not. I'm going to switch these ticks to 30-second charts just because they're getting a little hard to. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. That does not look right. I did 50 minutes and 30 seconds. No wonder it looks so funny. Hey, this is also noteworthy too, guys. Yeah, and someday we'll talk about this, but you can see the tick extremes for each day. And I haven't done a ton of stats on it yet, but it is worth paying attention to, I think, these days when the ticks get kind of constricted. All right, so Let me fix this and then we'll get back to the action here. So bar period. Yeah. We don't want 50 minutes. We want 30 seconds. Okay. I'm going to take a little more profit. So we're at $425 on the day. We got 2 micros on still from this long. I admit I got in too early on it. But let's watch and see what happens here. With the tick. I need to turn off. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So let's, one of the things that I like to do, okay, so we've got this volume profile, but I'm going to update it to just this most recent leg in price. And then let's zoom in a little bit. You hear my 3-year-old. I apologize. I'll have the headset. I think the headset's coming in today. So let's see what happens here when we zoom in on these price levels. And let's just kind of watch the order flow. I'm going to take off one more micro. Hey, kiddo. I think mommy's in the kitchen. I think she is. Okay. But if the delta flips positive, right? The delta flips positive. These little high volume nodes right here are excellent places to kind of take an initial entry. And really what it is, it's kind of a, you can see that there's kind of a balance area that's forming. So you're buying, you're basically, you would be buying, I'm not saying do it right now, but you would be buying on the bottom edge of this balance area, right? So our high volume node is this area right here, right? Well, at the bottom of the high volume node is this pocket. ICT has rebranded them as fair value gaps. But if you just draw the fair value gap, I think you're missing, again, some context, right? So let's watch these ticks. If you weren't already in a trade, again, this could be, these kinds of areas could be like your initial entry. Or if you were looking to add, then you would want to add on these kinds of pullbacks, right? Back into these pockets. And I'm trying to zoom in enough so you guys can see the volume fill in on the fixed range volume profile. I'm not going to add into this trade because it's 11:15 and I'm already on longer than I wanted to be. But since we're still in it, okay, I don't know, maybe the ticks are making new highs. I'm not nuts about really longing as we tap into this delta neutral area, but it is noteworty that price is higher. If you look at where we're at, so there is a divergence here, and this is kind of classic absorption, where we opened right here, and here is our current swing in price. So if we mark out these locations, something like this, and then I do the same thing, you can see how the price is higher, right? Price is higher than our delta. So what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? it means that there's absorption that's taking place through here. And it's limit order buying that's carrying price higher, right? So let's see if we put in some more volume here. Maybe I will add into this a little bit. I like that the ticks kind of making a new high. Let's buy a couple more. Let's go half a mini right here. And let's see what happens. We've got a little bit to play with because we're in profit. I like that the tick again is making a new high. Both the NYSE tick and the Nasdaq tick just put in a new high. Again, I'm not super nuts about it simply because we've got, we're up against delta neutral, but it's not a bad spot to try it. Let's see if we can get enough of a rally. What happens is that when price extends directionally like this, it's doing it on market orders, right? So the market orders carry price higher, and then the actual liquidity, which is the limit orders, come in and really backfill this area. All right, so that's what you want to do. You want to try to get, all right, so I'm going to take a little bit of profit. We're at 475 on the day. And let's just see what happens. Then I gotta go after this. I also like it that there is a previous month's VWAP here. We're higher than that now. Isn't it nice knowing that we're above that previous month's VWAP, right? If you were an ICT trader and you were just looking at hourly fair value gaps, your fair value gap is right here, and you got filled. Or it blew right through it, right? So that's why there's so many people trying to short it. And market internals are not telling us to short, at least not yet. You can see how the market internals, the tick, has been, again, largely positive. Why are you going to try to short against the market when it's mostly buying? Okay, I will not let this kind of trade go against me. If it starts doing that, I'll just get out. But I'll hold this for a few more minutes here. Let's see if we can get a pop. If it does pop above delta neutral, then I think it'll go nice. So let's just watch it. We do not want to see these ticks start breaking down from here, right? The ticks start streaming lower, right, from this area and this area, then we've got to get out. Let's just see what it does. We basically filled in that low volume node that was there. Again, anything can happen, so we can't get married to a trade. All we can do is try to get directional with it, get in alignment with it. So we've filled in that volume, that low volume node. And if it's going to go up from here, this is as good a time as any. See if there's some newly initiated aggression on the buyer side. Again, I hope you guys can see everything. I know it's I know I'm on a wide screen, so it's a little funky, but I'm trying to show you the whole picture. So if our delta does break above this delta neutral, I just call that a delta flip. If it flips, that's a really good sign for us. I'm always watching these ticks, right? A lot of times they will break higher or lower before price does. So all right, my kids are my kids are getting restless. Um, I'm probably going to go ahead and just exit this here, guys, so that way I can attend to them. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I would love to stay and kind of babysit this. There's going to be some days that I'll be able to stay on stream longer, but I'm just not going to be able to do that right now with you guys. I apologize, but I'm going to go and exit. So $447 on day one of the 300K eval. Again, just trying to start the new year off right. Keep it simple. We're just going to do one account and yeah, show you guys how I trade. Today is not super clean. That's okay. But I appreciate you guys being here this morning with me. It does mean a lot. Again, I'm just an average everyday American, right? Trying to earn a living through this trading game and take it seriously and learn. And so I appreciate you guys. Some of you guys helped me out today with the stream with OBS. And again, that just means a lot. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I'll be on about the same time, about 9 o'clock. And God bless you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I hope that this thing rips and you guys make a ton. So, all right. Again, appreciate you guys very much for being here. And you guys have a blessed day. Take care.